Hello and welcome to Songs for the Struggling Artist, the blogcast. This is episode 320. My name is Emily Rainbow Davis. Thank you so much for listening. I have tried out a new venue for recording. I'm in a different room with a different setup. I feel like I've not quite found the spot yet in this house, but we will get there, and I thank you for your patience. So, today's blog is about podcasts and about how we listen to podcasts and how tricky it is to share them, respond to them, let people know we like them, etc. It is called an applause button for podcasts. When I started my first podcast 6 years ago, I quickly discovered that it was a low engagement form. Podcasts aren't easy to share, and the platforms that they're on and the medium they're made of don't make it easy for people to respond. If you've ever been listening to a podcast and felt the impulse to share it, you know how challenging that can be. My listeners manage it with tweets and retweets and Facebook comments, but there's no direct way to tell me they liked it or to share it with others. Apparently, we can blame Steve Jobs for this, but maybe that's just a rumor. As a theater maker who is used to instant gratification and applause, I find this one of the most challenging parts of podcasting. And I somehow find it even more challenging with my audio drama than I do for my blogcast. The blogcast, I sort of toss off. For the blogcast, I read something I wrote a few weeks before, like this, and play a song I've usually spent a week or two learning and rehearsing. If no one responds to the episode, it's not really devastating. There is a sense of routine around it. That means I just keep going whether anyone engages with it or not. It's a weekly practice, a light dusting of art. A quick expression. The audio drama, on the other hand, is the culmination of years of work. I started writing this second season 2 years ago, began planning for it last year, and the production began earlier this year with the actors and sound designer. There's a whole team of people involved. We are still in process, even as we start to release our work. It's not just me in a room. It's a whole web of artists. This time around, I made a big deal of the release date and tried to create a little buzz. After all that, after finally releasing the first episode of the culmination of 2 years worth of work, guess what kind of response I got? Nothing. Absolute silence. Not a word. Not until the next morning, about 33 hours after I set the thing loose in the world. I work pretty hard not to take this kind of stuff personally, but my theater heart craves instant gratification, and 33 hours is certainly not instant. It is very easy to fall down a hole and tell oneself a story about how the work isn't as good as you imagined it to be and what a mistake you've made and so on with other very unuseful thoughts. Not long after this anticlimactic opening, I was talking with a friend who eased my mind on the subject and recorded some applause for me for the podcast. I have listened to it many times, not gonna lie. She also suggested that podcast apps really ought to include a clap button so folks could just push the button on a show they liked to give it some virtual applause. I think this is a great idea. First, I'd very much appreciate some extra claps. And second, as an audience member, I'd love to leave my appreciation for the makers. In listening, there's no way to distinguish between the podcasts I really admired and the ones I just let run while I did some task because I didn't care enough to stop them. All the apps reflect is whether or not a show was downloaded. The only way to register your approval is to rate it and or review it in places like Apple Podcasts And very few people can or will take the time to do that. There are a lot of things in the way of that happening. It's not a smooth action. An applause button, though, that's as smooth as it gets. And I think it would make a huge difference to me as both a listener and a maker. There's a clap button on Medium, and those claps, when I get them, mean something. We need the same for podcasts. A way to let folks know we heard them and we're giving them applause. In fact, I'd especially love it if we got notification of those claps as an audio file, so I could hear some good old applause directly. I was vaguely considering playing for you the applause that I received, but the applauder did not sign up to be in a podcast, and not everybody enjoys broadcasting their voice around the world. Weirdly, I do. Wow. I guess it's not broadcasting. It's like making your voice available around the world, and people can choose to engage with it or not. Mostly not. But those that do are pretty awesome, and that is you. So, if anybody's a podcast app developer, please take me seriously here. Put in a clap button, an applause button, whatever you want to call it. Just let me applaud for the people I think are great. And I would also I like applause. I'm not gonna. I do. I love it. So, I have already recorded Lady Gaga's applause song. So if you were anticipating, oh, she must be about to do Lady Gaga's applause, too late. Already done it. A couple years ago, 2 or 3, maybe 4. So check that out. I believe it is on the episode that is called "Sometimes I Just Need Applause." So you can find that with a search mechanism, I'm pretty sure. So it's not that. I was trying. I looked up a bunch of songs about clapping. I thought for a moment of doing "If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands," and I did try it out, and it was going to be a real funky, jazzy "If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands." But the problem with that song is that you only clap your hands once. Then you move on to doing other things. You stomp your feet, you turn around, all the things you can do. Say hooray. So it's not really about clapping. It's really about being happy and knowing it. And that's not what this episode is about. So I've gone with a Tom Waits song, which I don't think I've ever done before. And I thought, when I first thought of it, I was like, no, you can't do a Tom Waits song. That's not possible. And then I tried it on guitar and it was terrible. But then somehow I tried it on ukulele and I was like, actually, this might be okay. It doesn't have the, Tom Waits sound or vibe, but it was actually kind of fun to do. And it's early Tom Waits, so it's I don't know what that means, but it's not super weird. It's pretty standard. And it's called Clap Hands. So, and it repeats a lot. So in case you're confused about what you should do with your hands, it's clapping them. So, yeah. I'm going to play that for you in just a moment. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, there is no clap button, so you can't clap for it. I guess you could post a GIF or just write applause or an emoji on what though, right? On Facebook, on Twitter, I don't know. Anywhere this episode appears. But no clap button yet. So if you like the whole podcast, not just this episode, or just this episode, doesn't matter. Thank you, number one. That's really awesome. And please tell someone about it. Share it, like it, review, subscribe. If you'd like to support it with your money, we have patreon.com/Emily R. Davis. There's also Ko-fi and PayPal. All of those links are in the show notes, and any and all support is much appreciated. So, yeah. I will now play for you. Ooh, can you hear the train? Yeah, I'm in a different room. This room is closer to the train, so it's harder to block it out. Anyway, this is Tom Waits, Clap Hands on ukulele. Sane, they're all insane. Fireman's blind, the conductor is lame. Cincinnati jacket and a salad dame, hanging out the window with a bottle full of rain. Clap hands, clap hands, clap hands, clap hands. Said a roar, roar, the thunder and the roar. Son of bitches never coming back here no more. Moon in the window and a bird on the pole. We can always find a millionaire to shovel all the coal. Clap hands, clap hands, clap hands, clap hands. Said steam, steam, 100 bad dreams. Going up to Harlem with a pistol in his jeans. $50 bill inside a paladin's hat. And nobody's sure where Mr. Knickerbocker's at. Roar, roar, the thunder and the roar. Son of bitches never coming back here no more. Moon in the window and a bird on the pole. Always find a millionaire to shovel all the coal. Clap hands, clap hands, clap hands, clap hands. Said steam, steam, 100 bad dreams. Going up to Harlem with a pistol in his jeans. $50 bill inside a paladin's hat. And nobody's sure where Mr. Knickerbocker's at. Shine, shine, a Roosevelt dime. All the way to Baltimore and running out of time. Salvation Army seemed to wind up in the hole. They all went to heaven in a little rowboat. Clap hands, clap hands, clap hands, clap hands, clap hands, clap hands, clap hands.